Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your old pal, Aaron Major. That's right, here at the Square the Circle Music Channel. You've made it back. And we're going to talk about some real fantastic stuff tonight. We're going to talk about homeboy JT from JT's Record Room. Well done, sir. I doff my cap to you. Made it past the 1,000 subscriber mark, something that's seemingly so far out of reach for the lot of us around here in the vinyl community. But well done, sir. I'm a new subscriber, just recently stumbled across your channel, and it's really fantastic, man. I love everything you talk about. I love the wide variety of everything, like you so lovingly say, from all the dad rock that you love to just all kinds of really interesting, cool, like jazz and metal and just like great stuff, man. So, kudos again. I want to enter your contest. So here's my video for your super cool contest. Kind of I wouldn't say difficult, but kind of a real mixed bag here. It was kind of hard to like kind of wrap my head around, like, okay, what am I supposed to do? Like, this is cool. So if I got it correct, right, you want me to talk about 3 different records from different genres, but all kind of like newer kind of stuff that I've just been really eating up a lot of recently, I'm assuming. So I did that for you. And then you wanted one brand new album, right? Like at least within this last year or two. And then one guilty pleasure, of course, to put the icing on the shit cake. So let's talk about it. For those first 3, I just kind of went to like whatever was on the top of the heap. You know what I mean? I go through the week, I listen to a bunch of random shit like everyone does, and then it just ends up in a pile, you know, down here by the speakers or, you know, in the magazine rack or whatever. And then at the end of the week on Sunday, when you're sweeping the floor, you reorganize your record collection, right? That's what all of us nerds do here in the VC. So I just instinctively reached for whatever I've just been like spinning the last couple days and tried to come up with something that was even more difficult. I tried to get some like 3 selections that are kind of a crazy mishmash of multiple genres, fusion. I won't say specifically like really actually like fusion records, but like what I would kind of deem as kind of a real serious fusion group. So I hope that's fun for you to check out. And yeah, I'll just get right into it here. First one on the list is a group that on my channel I talk about quite incessantly. People are probably sick of it by now, but I go off a lot about some of my very favorites, music coming out of Scandinavia these days. I talk about a lot of that stuff on my channel. I wouldn't say I specifically feature, but I talk about progressive rock a lot, and I talk about, you know, fusion music, fusion jazz, rock, stuff like that, metal, all kinds of stuff. But these guys are insanely cool, and I highlight a lot of bands, like I said, from Scandinavia, from Nordic countries. I love Norwegian music. I love Danish music. These guys are a Danish group, and they take jazz and hard rock and kind of stony psychedelic music and just smash it all together. And it's just kind of stony jazz. It's just, you know, real cool. Yeah, really hard to put a real, you know, specific finger on it. Just a really kind of multifaceted band and multifaceted sound. They're called Papir. And like I said, they're from Copenhagen, Denmark. Papir, this is their 3rd album they ever released. They just number their albums 1, 2, 3. I don't know how to count in Danish, or else I would have. That would have been cool, right? Their first one self-titled. Then actually their 2nd album, they didn't give it a 2. They called it Stundum. And then this was when they started using just Roman numerals. This was their 3rd. They've since put out a 4th and a 5th and a 6th record. And then I think actually just this year, they put out their 7th full-length LP. Like in the last, their first record was probably in 2014. So they've just been slaying it. You love anything, cool elements of jazz, psychedelic rock. It's not really kind of bluesy and kind of like what you think of classic school of psychedelic rock. You know, it doesn't really have a lot of those tinges of blues and such. It's really just, you know, steeped in the culture of the place in the world. You know, it's very just kind of cool, smoky coffee house jazz with a real kind of like heavy psychedelic feel to it. It's just magnificent. You'll love the hell out of it. So please, my homie JT, check out Papier and everything that they've got. I specifically like their third album. This is their favorite, my favorite of their albums, is their third album. They also have a live album from Roadburn that is definitely worth a listen. It's pretty insane. You can hear what they do on a live scale and how it's just as tight and just as creative and awesome and energetic as everything they're doing in the studio. They can really pull it off, tried and true, on a live stage. Just a three-piece, just a raging trio. It's pretty cool. All right, there's the first one that I've really just been, like I said, on top of the pile, been enjoying the shit out of. That's not really new. I think it's probably 2015 or 2016 when they released that. This is definitely an oldie, but a goodie, from a whole different kind of world of, I talk, again, on my channel, I have like a little sub channel that I do episodes like every couple of weeks, about ambient music and electronic, instrumental, kind of strictly instrumental music of all, colors and shapes and sizes. But this one has been featured on that little sub channel that I do, about ambient and instrumental music. And this is another Nordic guy. He's from Norway. He's from Oslo. He was really famous all throughout Oslo, playing in big symphonies and he was kind of a hired gun, doing all kinds of different work all over Northern Europe. But yeah, his name is Ketil Bjornstad. Ketil Bjornstad, and this is just called Preludes, and it's just like 10 preludes on piano. Just real simplistic, minimalistic concert piano etude, and it's just divine. It's absolutely wonderful. I spin this constantly. I wouldn't say on a daily basis, but it pops up every other week or so. And especially just the opening track, Prelude 1 by Ketil Bjornstad. Check it out. If you like anything piano-centric, there's no other instrumentations on this album. It's just piano, and you can just get fully immersed. No experimentation, no synthesis, no tricks with tape, you know what I mean? No recording mastery. It's like the dude puts a reel-to-reel on top of his piano and lights up a cigarette and presses record, and this is what you get. Love the shit out of it. 1984 this was released, and like I said, he was huge all throughout Northern Europe, all throughout the 70s and into the 80s. I'm not sure, I think he is still alive, and from what I've researched about this guy is he kept putting music out like kind of almost a yearly basis throughout a lot of his later career in his 40s and 50s, and now he's in his 60s probably, maybe even a little bit older. So yeah, look into him. Really cool. Norwegian man, Ketil Bjornstad. Amazing pianist. I love acoustic and instrumental and ambient and drone and electronic and just like all that stuff. I have a whole huge part of my YouTube channel that I really focus on all that stuff. So yeah, had to kind of involve that area in the mix. And then we're going to talk about some total other end of the spectrum, some of the real heavier shit that I love. I love heavy metal music, also a big fan of punk rock, but just really kind of like, my bag is metal. I love metal. Progressive rock and metal are my thing. And honestly, which is kind of funny, I'm kind of a purist on both ends of of that spectrum. I don't, a lot of like prog metal, even like more specifically like the newer brand of prog metal, everything from like the 90s till now, not a fucking fan of whatsoever. Some little bits and pieces of it I can dig quite a bit, but I don't like the over-refined, overproduced, really kind of just like, technical and mathy to the point where it's just kind of, I don't know, obnoxious and kind of just, it takes away from the feeling that you get when you listen to intense rock music, metal specifically speaking. Like, it's such a real visceral experience in my opinion. And then when you take it to that end where it's just like so beyond, like I said, refined, and it's just too perfect and it sounds too fucking good, and it has no heart. And rock and roll is supposed to have a lot of heart. That's what makes it rock and roll, right? So yeah, yada yada. on my channel, I go into long-winded diatribes quite a bit. So I'll try to keep that to a minimum, since this is about you, my friend, and your victory to 1,000 subscribers. Once again, thank you very much for all of the content that you create, because it's been a lot of fun to watch and glean little bits and pieces of things that I've never thought about, never seen. So thank you all for that too in the vinyl community. Here's the third pick out of stuff I've just been spinning the shit out of lately, and I can't get enough of this. This was on my top 10 list of releases in 2020, and it was the first video I ever did on YouTube. So if you ever happen to check out my channel, everybody, or you specifically, JT, scroll down to the very beginning of my channel from like just a little over a year ago in early 2021, I did my favorites of 2020. So that was my first video, and this was like number, I want to say 7 or 8 on the list, somewhere in there, but it's just the motherfucking shit. It's so fantastic. And again, a big smashy smash of like, I'd say at least 4 genres, in my opinion. Super heavy thrash, guitar parts, and they're a trio, and it's just all over the place. It's got punk energy, but kind of sophistication and, you know, the sort of sophistication of progressive rock and kind of krautrock. So you get kind of like that real hypnotic vibe, and the technicalities that they're playing on the instruments still real kind of heavy and cool and punk rock, but with an air of just kind of like, it's space rock. It's like kraut, space, stoner, metal, thrash. It's fucking badass, dude. They're from France. They are called Slift. A band from, I think they're from Bordeaux, maybe. I don't know. I shouldn't go out on a limb and just guess some random French town that I know the name of. I have featured some of my favorite bands being from Bordeaux recently, but these guys are from somewhere in France, and they just rock so hard. The A side on this album specifically, called Uman, it don't quit. It's like 2 songs, 16 minutes of, like I said, just like through the roof space rock, beautiful metal guitar, echoey, ethereal sounds, but bringing it back to earth with just real cool, guttural, fast, furious in your face kind of punk rock attitude, still with that kind of flair of just like real kind of like artsy sophistication, and with the, you know, the sonic fidelity you're getting from this. It just sounds, it's very rich and very, that's why I think I say it has kind of like that spaced out kind of ethereal quality to it, kind of a space rock feel. But yeah, paired with this art that is just astounding. I guess this guy he's a French artist who has done comic book illustrations and all sorts of magnificent work all throughout Europe, but primarily in France. He did all their art design for them on this album, thank goodness, because it's like, this is how people are discovering this music, you know, in a day and age where, you know, we are just saturated beyond belief with the amount of media that people can take in on a daily basis. And it's, you know, it's just like, it's really great that bands are still doing that thing of like the progressive, you know, age of, you know, rock and roll when it was, you know, early on, first progressing in the 70s, and how it was a total package, a total art form. Releasing a record to the world was in itself an art form that was really taken seriously. I'm not saying, you know, artists these days, it's just become pappy, but it's not entirely schlock, but, you know, there's a lot of schlock out there, and we have to work really, really fucking hard to filter through the bullshit, don't we, folks? But it's not hard to do when the immediate thing you see when you are looking for great new music, you see something like this, and you're like, there's no way the music is garbage. It can't be. Like, who in the world would have art like this and just sign away the rights like, you guys should go ahead and use my art? You know, it's just amazing. Yeah, 3 French dudes, 2 of them are brothers. The guitar player and the bassist are brothers. You can tell they look quite a bit alike, and just the way they just like are just hammering on their instruments, and just like, oh my God, they'll just take you to another world. An absolutely otherworldly group called Slift from France. The album Uman, released in 2020. So yeah, pretty dope. So yeah, JT, you like the heavy shit, I'm sure. Gotta check those guys out. Not beyond heavy, you know, not beyond to the point where it's like, again, obnoxious math rock or just like real guttural Cookie Monster metal, you know, screams or anything like that. No, it's really just kind of like, it's really great. Check it out. Okay, so there's the three. There's the three from different genres, a whole huge rainbow spectrum of things all included in that, and that's stuff that's just been on the top of the pile that I've been really excited about for a long time now, and it always bubbles its way up to the surface again. It doesn't stay buried back there very long. I'm gonna go ahead and try to button this up and not yammer on too long for you, pal, but here's the one that is brand spanking new that I've been super excited about, and I've been trying to share with the world because this stuff also gets kind of like, you know, kind of blown over and just kind of like skipped along because some of the, you know, the guys who are kind of like my generation, your generation, like I'm on the end of Gen X, you know, I'm like on the nasty, sticky, gross end of Generation X, and you're obviously, you know, steeped right in the middle of the boomer generation. And so, you know, all of us guys kind of just like, you see this stuff and you just kind of like instinctively just blow over it and you don't really give it a second thought because right at the top it's like music from the video game, you know, and you're like, whatever, music from a video game. I don't want to pay $40 for a video game soundtrack. But sometimes you really gotta like, you gotta take a jump, you gotta take a leap of faith. I've done that recently. I bought a series of 2 LPs that I've featured before, of music from the video game Minecraft. If you have a child, I'm sure they play Minecraft. Maybe you might even be old enough to be a grandfather. I'm not sure about you in your personal life, but even so and still, your grandkid probably plays Minecraft, and that music is the shit. If you like ambient, fun, electronic compositions of a real, you know, amazing grand scale, you'll love it to death. And that's kind of what sent me over the edge of like, okay, I can trust these companies now that are putting out music for video games because it's really legitimately great music. This is something that just came out. The game itself was released in 2019, but this was recorded and put on LP very, very recently. I just picked it up at my record store like 3 days ago. I've just been spinning it nonstop ever since. Mutazione, not sure, I've never played the game, don't know anything about it, but his name, Alessandro Coronas. Alessandro Coronas, don't know where he hails from, but he's an incredible composer, and this album has everything. It has, again, so many things and genres and feels and styles. A lot of it kind of plods along like it's a real beautiful ambient electronic, kind of minimalist, cool, lots of like, you know, Rhodes piano, lots of other synthesizers, really kind of a real like, you know, film score kind of composition feel to it. But I love it when whatever record companies and whoever puts out this stuff and compiles this stuff, how they always try to make sure to put the kind of like soundtrack from the game, like the little bits and pieces as you're playing the game along in a timeline. You'll get the little snippets of the music. Each little part is truncated, so it's like 2 minutes here, 3 minutes here. This is the part where he walks into this guy's house. This is the part where he goes hunting for mushrooms through the field. That kind of thing. They put that on disc A, and then disc B is the long score, like the original score. Difference between score and soundtrack, you all understand, because you're all music collectors and appreciators, right? So that's how they do this one. And so it's magnificent if you're feeling like you just want something long form, much more pastoral and, you know, soundscape, just, you know, kind of more of a symphonic feel, and it has more like actual orchestral, you know, symphonic instruments in it. That's what you get to just sit and enjoy. And then A is like kind of like you're playing an experience in the game. There's like moments of really cool, like new wave mixed with kind of like punk shit in here. And it's, you know, there's quirky, weird, like ambient, and it's really fantastic. It's a really immersive, incredibly fun listen. So everybody just kind of like take a step out and try something new, something the kids are really getting into these days, you know? And so, yeah, sometimes an explorator of, you know, kind of jump into nothingness can really produce some really fun things. And I'm just gonna like continue to spin the hell out of this and get lots of pleasure from it. And it will very likely end up on my top 10 of the year. That's kind of like what I do. And I do this fun thing just like you do, make these, you know, little videos for people to enjoy, because it's like, it's a great hobby. It's a very healthy hobby. So that's my new that I'm really digging on right now. Okay, the goods, the end of the line here. I'm gonna make myself a fool. No, we don't do that. We don't shame each other around here on the Vinyl community, do we? No, we don't shame each other. Pardon me there, I was getting a little bit thirsty. I'll sum it all up here with my guilty pleasure of the evening. This gets spun quite a bit around my household. My children love it. I grew up loving this. This is something from my childhood. My mother really got me into everything instrumental, orchestral music, symphonic, choral music, musical theater. Dad got me into soft jazz, easy jazz, electronic jazz, a mix of everything. And then just kind of like everything theatrical and just kind of like over the top. Not in the realm of like the avant and like kind of the shock rock kind of like over the top. I mean, just kind of like over the top theatrical, the ambience and this, the aesthetic of it all, just, you know, the grand performance of the whole thing. My guilty pleasure of this evening happens to be Kitaro, the immortal Kitaro. I think he's fantastic. I love it. I love the whole presentation when you see him perform on stage. It's just like one big theatrical orgasm, you know. It's hilarious and it's fun and it's just great. It's just, you know, he's a Japanese electronic, and I mean, he plays wood flute. That's what he's known for, is the Japanese wood flute. But then everything else behind him is just like incredibly elaborate synth, just wall of synth sound and all these Far East Asian, you know, themes and sounds, and the taiko drums, and he's dancing around doing samurai movements with his wood flute. It's fucking awesome. Oh, it's some really nerdy shit, and I just love it to death. This art is kick-ass. The album's called Key. Kitaro's Key came out in probably like 88, I think, somewhere in the late 80s. Got me a super sweet Japanese copy. I don't know if it was pressed at the Obi plant, but yeah. Oh, beg your pardon. This is not the Key album. I'm sorry. This album's called Oasis. The Key album's very similar to this. I often get the two confused, mixed up. This album's called Oasis. But yes, the illustrious Kitaro. I love everything he's done. That other, he did a double LP. What's it called? Something about the road east or whatever. What was that called? The trail from Europe to Far East Asia. The T trail, the T road. I don't know, whatever. It's something like that, but it's a really kick-ass double album that he did. So check that one out too. I think that was kind of more in the 70s. Had some more prog elements to it. So yeah. Congratulations, my man. Can't wait to maybe sometime chit chat with you and share some ideas and concepts on music. So yeah, again, congratulations to the 1,000 subscriber mark. Excited to deep dive more into your channel and share the love. So this is your friend, Aaron Major in the Vinyl community, signing off from Springfield, Oregon. Peace out.